first thing I think when I am looking at something that's worked is before, have you turned it off and on? Have you overridden the safety switch? Is that really the first thing you did?
No.
Did you turn it off and on?
What's the second thing?
What the first thing you do is turn it off and on,
and then the second thing is go for the safety switch and hit off.
Oh, no. Customers do all sorts of weird shit with appliances.
Yeah. Oh, so the second thing you do is like look for a quarter in the fuse.
Yeah, most of the time. Well, no, but most of the time you're looking for something a customer's done.
Okay.
Otherwise, it's wear and tear and use replacement.
I see. So Jessa, the customer, had shoved in the safety switch.
Or put like a massive duvet in their washing machine and
Gotcha.
doesn't know why there's fluff everywhere in the machine.
Fluff everywhere.
Upside down.
Yes. Alrighty, we are going to fix this thing. Yes, we are. And by we, I mean John, who is here for Practical Board Repair School, and so is all these other people, except they all got to the end of the day here on Friday, and they went to the bar and left John to fend for himself when it became clear that I was going to be making people solder on stream. But John's not worried, right?
Yeah. Well,
All right, so tell me about this device. So this is, we're going to stream this because this is cool. It doesn't have any schematics, and we're just going to kind of apply the whole read the board stuff we talked about all week. And it does like kind of look like it could be like a cool pair of glasses if it doesn't work out. Kind of like Johnny 5 or something. Where'd you get this?
This was it is a customer's board. He spilled a pint of lager over it. So when we opened it up, there was a minor area on the board that had liquid damage. It's an A1706 MacBook Pro.
1706?
A1706, yeah.
Okay.
So it's the touch bar, 2017 MacBook Pro.
So 2017 1706 MacBook Pro with the touch bar. And these are the ones that nobody likes to fix because you can't like mess with the touch bar itself, and there's generally no schematics. However, recently there was a schematic that fell off a truck for not this version, right? It's for something else?
Correct.
The 1707?
I think it was 1708.
Oh, okay. So what were your findings on this visually? This is liquid damage or lager damage, right?
Lager damage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So there's one particular area on one side of the board that is just underneath the keyboard in a particular area, and there was a few.
Now is this so we've been looking at this for a while. So when we find this spot, which to me looks like a charging chip right there, that's under the keyboard?
Yeah.
So that's where liquid is going to go?
Yeah.
All right. So let's actually get chat going, because if you have one of these boards that you're trying to fix and you ask us to take any diode mode reading, we will do it in for the next 5 minutes. Then most of this board looks pretty good. So it's very, very focal.
There's the stain.
Oh yeah, there's the stain. Are you sure this was lager damage? Do you have a black light? Is that Oh, I'm sorry, sir. We don't repair that. Also, I noticed that your L key on your keyboard is very sticky. So that thing can just be quiet. Okay. So physical exam says that what looks like a typical on every other MacBook I've ever looked at, which is about 5, charging chip, which is kind of like the TriStar of the MacBook. So that, then we've been messing around with this a little bit, which is why we thought it might be a cool stream. But let's kind of show everybody what we found. So we're gonna move this to the front. All right, we'll move this to the front. Why is that not doing that? Oh, geez. I've messed everything up. There we go. All right, so we noticed that there was liquid damage specifically. Both of these caps or just one? I don't remember. We're bad? I mean, this one's obviously really, really ugly looking cap. So when you see an ugly looking cap, the first thing that you do is you say, hey, is that short to ground? Now we don't really know if it's going to have a partial short to ground or not, but what we can do is like a diode mode measurement, or we could just measure resistance to ground. So in diode mode with red probe on ground, when I measure this line, I can get a reading on that cap, and it's 0.603. Now on the other one, it's ground on this side and 0.413, and this is ground on this side. So we kind of went with the idea as we look here that maybe these, you know, just by chance, because the trace is thick here and the trace is also relatively thick there, maybe they are kind of like twin or parallel or related lines. So we're just kind of keeping that in mind. Everything else though looks good around here. There's a little bit of corrosive damage over here at this cap. There's a little bit of an ugly looking resistor here. This is either something that is missing or possibly a no stuff. It's probably a knocked off cap, just because I'm gonna guess that this is ground and then the other pad is missing. So let's just test to see if it's actually ground. So that beeps to ground, which tells us that this was something that went to ground. It could have been a resistor or it could have been a cap that is now gone, and we have no real hope of figuring out what that was. There's a little bit of minor damage around here, but this is really the hot spot. And then as we kind of looked over here earlier, I think it was here, somewhere around here, I found another kind of spot that looked like it had a little bit of minor damage. Let me see if I can find that again. So let's just look around, tour the board. You remember where that other spot was? Here it is.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so I don't know what this is. Maybe you guys that work on MacBooks can have a little bit more of an idea. That do you see a lot of MacBooks?
No.
No?
No, mainly iPhone and iPad.
Yeah, we don't see a lot of MacBooks either, but that's okay. We don't see a lot of MacBooks, but we do like to use our brain. And a lot of what we talked about during course week was, you know, being able to see what you can do when you don't have, you know, kind of just rolling with whatever information you can get. All right, so we could kind of Google this chip, or maybe somebody in chat is likely to say, hey, I see that on MacBooks and it's the blankety blank chip, but right now I don't know. So we'd have to look that up. Now here I can see this cap looks damaged, and I can put a probe on it and see if I can get any kind of reading here. So I'm getting 0.385 on that line, which, you know, kind of seems like a normal reading. It's not neither open line or short to ground. So, so there's a little bit of kind of goo around this dude, but that joint there is likely not good right there. See how he sits on that pad? So whatever this is would be the other kind of spot that we would need to figure out. All right, as far as physical exam, that's all that I noticed. Did you notice anything else? Did I miss anything on here?
Not that I remember, no.
Okay.
And Paulie Lewis is saying, what was the symptom? There's no power. So, yeah.
So by no power, what do you mean?
As in, the charger goes in after cleaning the board, etc. Sorry, no. The customer came in, said he plugged the device in, and
Did he plug it in while wet?
No.
Like, did it have active liquid when you opened it up?
No.
Okay.
No, it didn't. And he'd waited a little while before he plugged it in. He left it
in rice. Yes. Did he have to actually go buy more rice just to put the whole MacBook in?
It's a sack of rice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, did he use brown rice or white rice? Because I heard that makes a difference.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, as we all know. I mean,
probably what he did wrong. He used white rice.
That's probably what it was. Well, if this doesn't work, then we're definitely going to just stick it in some brown rice. Okay, so So the next step then on this. Let's make this go down. All right. So the next step on this was, hey, let's look and see. Let's look and see what extra information that we can have. Who is John? John. John is a Code 3 specialist. We imported him from Birmingham, right? Is that right?
Yeah, Coventry, just outside. Yeah, Birmingham.
Oh, yeah. So, okay.
UK,
Coventry.
England.
Wait, isn't that like in one of the? Isn't there a Christmas Carol? Coventry Carol? Is that from like your hometown?
Oh, I don't know. You send people to Coventry, as in you don't speak to them.
What?
Yeah,
Really?
There's a saying in England. Yeah, you go.
Oh.
I'm going to send you to Coventry, and yeah, that you don't speak to them.
Is that what happened to you? I used to be from Birmingham, but now I'm from now I'm from
And no one
Coventry.
speaks to me. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. All right. Okay, so and these guys over there are not going to say a goddamn thing. And they're all hiding out, especially Dustin. Hey Dustin.
Dustin's not here.
Dustin,
Dustin's getting
hey Dustin,
angry.
you want to solder something? What was good?
Come do a what?
Do you want to solder something? You like look just.
He wants
you know,
to fix his phone.
That's what I was doing.
If we ditch this whole project and just say we're gonna fix your phone, will you solder on stream? All right. Okay, so here's the deal. So we wanted to do this stream just because we thought this was interesting. How do you approach a board where you don't have the schematics and you just have to piece together information? So let's speed up a little bit. This is going to be short. We really only have a couple of things that we can try, and it'll either work or not. So here's the deal with this to kind of speed us along. What we see from the physical damage then is that this is very focal damage, meaning it's not widespread all over the place. It's in a few spots. And of those spots, one of them, which is here at the charging chip, is a really classic spot for water damage to go in any kind of MacBook. And we know that this causes damage at the chip, that the ISL chip or the U7000 chip or whatever you want to call it, the TriStar of the MacBook. This is the chip that is part of the traditional system for recognizing and allowing the charger to talk to the device and to power on the device. Now the Touch Bar MacBooks have the weird USB-C and 4 different ports and all of this muxing, and you can use all sorts of different dongles and plugs, and it's a little bit different, but you could guess that if you have a problem with the ability of this chip to kind of understand current sensing, that you're not going to be able to power up the MacBook at all. So this is really consistent. This isn't like, some kind of weird headphone jack corrosion. This damage is consistent with the overall problem of the thing not being able to boot. Now, the chip itself in this area, this ISL 95828 chip, I believe is something that you can get. I can't get one today. I did ask my friend at Rossman Repair Group if he had any. He said no. So, well, maybe we can find a more reputable supplier somewhere else. I don't know. Maybe somebody in the UK, something like that. So we'll let you know on that. So we're kind of stuck. But here's what we're going to do, because it's possible that this chip is good. So here is the biggest thing that we found wrong, which is at this chip area. And I'm going to kind of move this down a little bit. Let's see. We're going to just kind of shrink this down so that you guys can see more of the board. We'll stick this over here. All right. In this area, what we noticed was this cap looks pretty bad, and then the biggest thing was that here is a missing component, and we don't really know what that would be. So that's kind of the biggest finding. So something that's missing can be a big deal, or maybe it's not a big deal. And then we also noticed that there's an adjacent test point. What we think now is a test point is also corroded away. So you can see there's a trace in the board that goes over here to what looks like it should be either a via or a test point. So that would be open line. Looking at it and kind of scratching or tracing around a little bit, it does not seem that this is indeed a micro via or a via. It doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't have a path through to the board. There's nothing on the other side. So instead of considering that just an open line, should we scratch there and solder? We're going to go with, no, it's a test point. Now, do you agree with that? Or do you think we should scratch there and try to find something to connect it to?
No, I think we should leave it for now.
Okay. What do you think?
Yeah, it's not going to leave it. Because if you scratch it out, you can't.
What happens if you scratch?
Go to the ground.
You're going to find ground. Exactly. So if you scratch, you're going to find ground or something else that's the wrong line. Because you can really see there's a break there. So that trace, you can read the board, and that's what we've been doing sort of ever since day one at PBRS school, is, read the board. This board says what goes here is a test point. Because I can see that break. I can see the trace, and even though I can see kind of like a hint of copper here, it's really, there's nothing here that this would have connected to under it. So therefore, it would be a test point for this line, which also kind of, makes this line kind of important, because it has its own test point. So we're going to ignore that. Now back to this spot here. So this spot, let's see if we can kind of read the board and get a little bit of contrast, which is kind of tough with this lighting, but we'll try. All right, so all right, ready for some on the fly like quiz questions? Yeah, he's like, I am now. I also need some new underwear. All right, okay, so clean pair of shorts, please. So we're looking at this kind of missing spot here. What do we care about? Like, what if it is? Does it make a difference if it's a capacitor that went there versus a resistor? What do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah. So which one would be kind of on the important side?
The resistor.
Why?
A cap will have a foot on ground, and it's just there to maybe smooth out the current as opposed to actually do something more important than a resistor would be there for. So
Thank God John paid attention all week. Yeah, you're.
I'm just going to change my shorts.
Yeah, just a minute, I'll be right. Yeah, but you're absolutely right. So that if it were a cap where if we could identify and see, oh yeah, that's just ground, and the other side is the line, then it's likely that there was just a smoothing capacitor there, that it's not going to take out the function of the entire device, probably. So but if it's a resistor, then then it actually may. And so on this line, we can see that there is a there is a trace there. So there is copper there that this original whatever lived here was connected to. And we can also see that that is isolated from ground. So that was never ground. That is some kind of a trace, a circuit in the board that goes somewhere. And we should be able to kind of tin what's left of the little nub of the trace that's inside there. All right, and then we can read the board, and we can see that on this side we can see that there is a connection, a trace between this pad and this cap, and then we can see that this cap continues on through this trace and it actually connects here to the chip. So all of this is one line. Now this capacitor does have one foot on ground and the other foot here on the line. So this line kind of got burned, and this resistor, or whatever was here, is now missing. Now because it's line to line instead of ground, that really kind of points to what lived here. Not a capacitor, but a resistor, some kind of an inline component. Now it could have been a diode. It could have been a coil. It could have been a filter or something else. But when we kind of look at the context of this entire chip, and we see a whole bunch of these, kind of same size resistors and a few caps, that kind of points to the idea that it was probably a resistor, just for probability's sake. Could be totally wrong. And then when we look to see, we've got two caps here that are of the same size. As we look all around the chip, Everything else is a smaller size. It's almost like, these two guys are somehow related. It's easy to think that, there's a chance that these two caps are maybe somehow related, kind of like mirror images of each other. And since this cap, the one that is still present, and we can see the same thing where the chip is a relatively thick trace, like a power trace, as opposed to a thin, like a data line trace. So a power trace that goes out to a cap, and then we can see that continues on to a resistor. Now this resistor we picked up to measure, but that resistor was native and it was intact and it looked okay when we first got here. So we can even use the multimeter to kind of confirm some of that. And this is just sort of how you think and how you try to make some kind of sense out of a board when you don't really have very much to go on. So let's just kind of confirm things with the multimeter in continuity mode. If I put one probe here at the chip, then I can say, hey, are you on the line with the chip? He is, and how about you? So all of those are on one line. And then I could put a probe over here on ground and say, are you on ground? And you, of course, are not ground. And this cap here is one side on ground and the other side is not. And then I can go in diode mode and I can actually get line sort of readings of the overall resistance. And I see that this line is 0.6 and the other line is 0.4. So the 0.6 versus 0.4, that tells me that those two lines really, they're not, as far as I can tell, like totally identical. There's going to be something a little bit different between them. So with just this information, what could we do? We could guess that there is a resistor that's missing here. And then we would have to just come up with, well, then what's its value? Well, gee, I don't know. Our first idea was what?
It was a mirror image of the other side.
Yeah, that with nothing else to go on, maybe it's the same resistor as the one that goes with this cap with nothing else to go on. So we took this off and measured it, and what was it?
1.4 ohms.
1.4 ohms, which is super low. Like that's almost zero, right? 1.4 ohms, that's like nothing. So 1.4 ohms, that's very, very low. And but it's not zero. And so sometimes that, a resistor like that is like very specific and is there for like current sensing or something like that and has to be exactly right. So we thought about getting a 1.4 ohm resistor. That's the tall order. Didn't you weren't you and Mark over here like searching for like 1 in the schematic
10.
to try to find like a
Yeah.
How long did that take? Long enough that you considered just going to the Apple store and getting warranty on this?
Pretty much.
Yeah. All right. So that's kind of tough. All right. So, but then we thought, hey, you know what? We remembered that recently there has been Lewis had a touch bar job on his channel, touch bar MacBook, not the same one. And we thought we would go hunt down some schematics. So we did. So we hunted down some schematics for not this board, but a similar board. So let's just take a look. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to open up the board view. So hopefully this is going to work, and I won't really be able to tell. Maybe you guys can you see if you can find the YouTube stream on that computer so that I can be sure that this is actually showing what we think. Because I'm going to have to just do display capture since we're doing the open broadcaster thing. All right, so display capture, and we're going to do this. And all right, I think we're going to look at this. So did you guys close the, that's not the right one.
It's not.
Where's the one that we've, have been working on all day? Not around?
No, that's the donor board one.
Okay.
And then,
all right, so what we need is all right, we'll get rid of that while we find this.
Yeah.
All right, so we need to open, it's this, right?
Yeah,
That?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there we go.
All right, so then we're going to go back to here, and we're going to do this, and then I think when we go back here that they can see that. So, see if that happens over there shortly. All right, we'll see. Okay, so the all right, yeah, we're all caught up. All right, perfect. So this one is for the 820-00875, and this board we're working on is the 0092334 or something like that.
Something. Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, we don't even know. Didn't matter because there's no schematics, so who cares?
No.
All right. Now, when you look at this board, just kind of from far away, you can kind of say, "Hey, is there a matching or similar area?" I mean, the entire board layout is really different. I mean, our board has 2 giant fans, and this board is completely different machine. But nevertheless, let's see what we can do. So let's kind of drill down on this. And this I don't use very much, so thanks to Paul Daniels for putting this out here for everybody. This is the open board view that Paul Daniels has made, and he's done a lot of hard work, and this is a great tool to have. But if we look around, we can say, all right, hey, look at this. I see here a square chip that has the same kind of number and like QFN style package with a whole bunch of resistors and capacitors around it, of which 2 of them are larger than everybody else. That really seems similar to our board that we're looking at. So if we look at our board, it's like, hey, I see a chip with the same QFN, feet, and a whole bunch of resistors and capacitors all the way around, of which 2 of them are larger than everybody else around. So that really seems really similar. So let's go back and, not that one, god damn it. All right, this one. All right, and then if we kind of continue to look around, I can say, is there any other chip like that? So, here's a square chip, but that's a BGA chip. I can tell by the way it's presented here. That's also a BGA chip. Nothing else really looks similar. And then we can hit spacebar to flip this pony around. And same thing, this looks like a big spread out board, but I don't see any other chip. Maybe this one, possibly, but it's not quite as much of a match. So that kind of makes us pretty confident then that, this chip here, U7100, that this is going to be, this same old kind of charging chip, or the ISL chip that's in a lot of different MacBooks. So if that's the case, then, we can kind of say, what are these guys? So this is C7102 and C7101. So we're thinking that these 2 caps are going to be a match. Maybe, this is all just a guess, maybe those are going to be a match to the function of the caps on our board, and might lead us, because we know continuity from the cap to the missing dude, it might lead us to the identity of the guy that's missing on our board. So that's our theory, that's our plan. So now we need to go to the schematic. So let's do that. This one. All right, so here we go. All right, so now we've got the schematic, and we're going to go back over here, and hopefully that is now going to show us schematic. We better close some of this. We've been working on stuff all day. All right, so here we are. This is the chip then. It's U7100 ISL 95828 HRTZ. Oh yeah, baby, because that's exactly what it says on our chip itself, 95828 HRTZ. So now we got a hot lead, because we are now pretty sure that this chip is actually a match. So that's great. So let's look around at this chip and kind of see what's going on. So here at the top, I see voltage in and VCC. So these are 2 probably power on for the chip itself. And I can see that there's a cap here that's size 0402 and another cap. Now these 2 caps are different. All right, now let's look around. Are these our guys, or are we overlooking something else? So we can kind of look around and see all of these other lines. And I'm looking, I can see some other caps around, but they're smaller. They're in a different size. And these resistors, they're all size 0201. These caps and resistors, size 0201. So it kind of makes sense as you look at this whole picture that the thing that's most similar to our board are these caps up here. Awesome. Okay, but I see 3 resistors that are sort of tied to these caps. So let's try to make sense of what's going on here in this area. So it looks like we have 2 lines that are going into the chip and 2 resistors that are different. And one of them is a 1 microfarad capacitance capacitor. The other one is a 0.22 microfarad capacitance capacitor. And of these 2, we're going to guess that they're going to match our board. So let's take a look. And let's go back to our board. So when we look at our board, we can first just kind of say which one of these is a match. You took off the good-looking one.
Yeah, the one on the left, and that measured 1.4 microfarads.
All right, so you took it off, put the micrometer in capacitance mode, and measure and off the board, because you have to measure that off the board. Went across, and it was like 1.4 microfarad.
Yeah, 1.4.
All right, so and that was kind of like 1.4. That's kind of weird. But so let's say that's the 1 microfarad capacitor,
Yeah.
and then you measured this resistor as well. And what was the resistor?
That was 1.4.
1.4 ohms,
Ohms, yeah.
which is very low. All right, so then we've kind of got this little set. So let's see if that matches back with our schematic at all. So that means the 1 microfarad cap, C1706, is on a line with no stuff, no care. Over here. Yes, hello. R7192, which is a 1 ohm resistor. So pretty much we'll round it from 1.4 to 1. Say it's 1 microfarad cap goes with a 1 ohm resistor. Those guys are a set. And that over here then, the missing resistor is, dun, 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 it should be R7101, a 10 ohm resistor. And that those values are likely important. So we need to come up with a 10 ohm resistor, get it soldered onto this board. And that's really kind of all we can do. Now we can be worried, I'm worried about that really horrible looking cap. So I'd like to come up with a better quality 0.22 microfarad capacitor that's in 0402 size. I'm not sure that we can do that. The way caps fail though, do you remember how caps fail? Question for you. Yeah, they become a wire. So now, if that cap had failed and became a wire, then what would happen to the resistance of the whole line?
We'd have a short ground.
Right. And so since this line actually had higher resistance than the other line, we're going to guess that even though it looks so horrible, that it's not short to ground. And so right now, it's probably not worth it to go on a big hunt, especially because that would take too long and we want to get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's Friday. It's Friday night. Okay, so what we do want to do though is come up with a 10 ohm resistor, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so and that's really all we can do. Come up with a 10 ohm resistor. We're choosing to ignore the fact that we think that test point, that's just a test point, and that's gone, who cares? There's some other minor damage around here that if this doesn't help us fix this board, then we could kind of try to go deeper and pursue, whatever the dude is that I already, whatever is this guy. Because that's not going to match the schematic. That's going to be a little bit hard for us to figure out who he is. We maybe can just kind of like Google the chip. Who in chat wants to look this up for us? What is this? 3444V? Who can see that? Let's see. Tell us what this is, MacBook guys. Come on, MacBook gurus. Help us out. 3444V, 7B004. Bring your own beer, BYB.
Who's got beer?
This board does not have beer, and in fact wants you to bring your own beer if you're going to work on him. That's what he says.
I need my own beer.
Greg M's asking, is that pin 41 and 42 on the board where they connect?
Is that pin 41 and 42 on the board where they connect? Well, I guess I could start counting. So, you know, when we look at, you mean on the ISL chip? Well, we're going to go with A1, you know, is always going to be the dot. And so then we could start to, you know, kind of count around. That would be too much counting for this late in the day. We're going to go with probably. We're going to go with, here you go, Greg, start counting. This is 1, 2, 3. Just keep them going all the way around. Here you go. We'll leave it really still. Here, I'll clean this out for you so that you can count it too. You can tell us what the pin is. All right, so there you go.
No.
Paul Dan is talking about selling Litecoin. All right. Lewis is around. PP3V3G3 hot presents. We are going to find out after. We're gonna hunt down the resistor first, and then we haven't done any voltage testing on this board yet.
Thank you. Which one's your favorite?
Which ones are my favorite green tweezers? Who wants to know?
People steal it and yell about it.
Yeah, what's going on
They don't
over
want to be
here?
on camera, but they're
It's replacing the
stealing.
filter.
Oh,
stealing.
they're like, oh, but we want the good tweezers. Yeah, we can't use this. This is the red tweezers, God forbid. Okay, so now this is gonna be a challenge. So your job is to come up with the 10 ohm resistor.
Yeah.
So what's your plan? Why don't you tell us about your plan while I try to make it. I mean, this is a little bit far gone now, so I'm gonna have to kind of get a wire on here for us to be able to attach anything to it. So you can tell us about your 10 ohm resistor location plan.
So, Jess had a few old MacBook boards lying around. So what we did was we made a note of the numbers on the donor boards and looked up the schematics and started searching for 10. And
then me and the rest of the students went and drilled out a CPU and figured out how to get the CNC machine working.
That was on Monday. We're now on Friday. No, anyway, so then we searched 10 and then 5%, and we've come up with a similar size resistor. Well, exactly the same size on one of the donor boards, and we've located it, and we're planning on taking that off.
Okay, so you did locate it, so you know where it is.
Yep.
Oh, fantastic! That's excellent. All right, so I'm gonna just tin this up.
Yeah, he knows where it is. He took it off and set it on that blue mat right there.
That better not be true. Oh, yeah, that would be a technical difficulties. Beep. Oh man. So, what was your favorite part of the course? I know what mine was. I'm gonna see if it's a match.
Match.
Yeah.
God, there was a few. And this is not food, no, because I love food. So
it can be food, I guess.
No, the favorite part was when we heard about Code 3.
Code 3.
Code 3. that made me laugh. Yeah.
My favorite part was far and away was taking the saltwater damaged iPhone 5 that looked like it was it had spent 2 years. Oh yeah, let's take a look at it. Yeah, it's all it's working. Yeah, look at this. Look at that, working. Look at that, working, beautiful phone.
Fast diagnostics.
Yeah, exactly. Take a look at the board. This was recent. This is my favorite part. Remember, you can tell by how many times they go, Mark, oh my God, you got to see this. Yeah, this board. Look at that. Nice looking, beautiful board. Beautiful. Look at it now. Like, isn't it more impressive now that you see it? This, after we recovered the data on it, we were able to run the Apple GSX diagnostic software that tells you whether or not there's anything wrong with the phone. Guess what? Guess who passed? I mean, look at this. This board passed. Boom. Great. Nothing wrong with it. Ready for resale. That's like, I don't know why I think that is so hilarious, but this board ready to, thumbs up, ready to go in the white box. Who wants to buy an iPhone 5? Anybody? Really nice. certified. All right, so I'm ready to put my wire on, and then you're gonna have to like do a shot and then get this resistor on here. All right. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna leave a wire. I mean that via is getting really tough to work with.
Yeah.
So what we're gonna do is, let's see, what line was that? Is it? Let's try to guess what the voltage would be on that line. Yeah. Let's see. So I'm looking back on this. This is gonna. I'm looking at the schematic to try to decide what size wire to use. All right. So we're okay. So it's PP bus G3H. Sounds like one that's gonna not be suitable for trace wire. So I need a thick wire. All right. So I'm gonna have to tag into that micro via. I wish that I knew, if I was Lewis and knew enough to sort of generic knowledge from experience looking at a board, then I would automatically know what other things were on like PP bus G3H. I could look over at the I could look over, not at that, at this, and say we're looking for, what is it that we're looking for? Let me get rid of that. We're looking for R7101 and C7101. So it's this guy, and we could just kind of look to see all the thousands of other places that this line goes and just kind of guess. I mean, we could, that's a little tough. So there's going to be all of these relatively large caps that, I mean, I guess it makes sense that those would all be on the main power rail, which is what this is. We probably should do that instead. All right, so let's look back at our board and see what kind of large, so we've got all of these like big tantalum caps that are around. All right, these are probably, all also on our same, PP bus G3H rail, and it probably, let's see. Just wondering like where we could figure out. Let's see where that little micro via goes on the other one. See if we can guess anything. Guessing. We're gonna do a little bit of guessing. So how much of the course did you feel was guessing? Learning the art of the guess.
I'd probably say 50%. 50% is actually learning what we know about electronics, and the reasons behind why we look at what we look at on schematics, etc. But I think 50% of it is
learning how to guess. Yeah. I mean, that was like from back on like day one with the vibrator motor, where it's like we're gonna have to learn how to guess.
Know your acronyms.
Yeah. All right, so let's go.
Camera cable stored.
All right, so let's see. Where else does that go? So it, goes to the chip. I mean, that's an easy place. So according to calculations, the C7101, which is our bad-looking cap, goes to ground on one side, and then the line comes from the chip, and that part is good, and then this part is also good, and then the part that's not good is this PP bus G3 hot CPU. So that's our like kind of broken line. And so in theory we could just go from the easiest jumper to make would be to put this resistor on one of these local
Mainly for chips?
giant
Bored out.
caps, or
You
maybe
have
we could find this
no
like a
other
local
choice.
one like
Well,
this.
connector where the legs
Not the
don't
ground
stick out
side,
very
you
far,
know, so that's all going to be ground.
or,
This side,
you know, trying
like
to
put physically the
if
resistor,
that area was much
you know, like
tighter and you couldn't get
adjacent to that,
in
right?
there,
And
it
then
makes sense to
solder
decide
from
that,
here
you know, it's,
to
that's your
the-
last choice. First choice is always going to be
that trace here, right?
Yeah.
So that would be the easiest jumper
Yeah,
to
yeah,
make,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So what do you think about that plan?
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay, so in order to execute that, we need to just be sure, because this isn't really a match perfectly. This is just a guess match, not a bona fide match. So that means if we were to get a probe there on our little micro via, beep, that we should start getting some beeps to, let's get a beep. All right, let's see. So let's see, let's just kind of find out, what do you beep to? Let's see. You really shouldn't beep to the other guy there. All right, so that doesn't look like it's a bona fide plan here. Let's see, do you beep to the chip? Nope. What do you connect to, mofo? I'm trying all these big caps. No, it's really tough because it's really hard to know if you're actually touching that little dude down there. It's hard to know if you're really getting your multimeter probe on it at all. All right, I would like to, I'm just kind of rubbing around to see if I can get anything that will just beep so that we could have an easier jumper that we're more like sure of. Beep to the chip. But I also don't want to crush or destroy what's left of the micro via. Did I get a beep? Did I get a beep? Did I get a beep? Was it just to the probe? Did I accidentally hit the probe?
Thinking, yeah.
God damn it. How about him? Let's look for something else that looks burned. How about you? You a beep? Nope. How about you? That looks really bad, that cap. That looks really bad. Any of you? Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
All right, so I'm still in my micro via, and is that just ground? Am I like somehow hitting ground? I think I might be hitting ground. Yeah, that's just ground. Damn it. All right, let's try. Nope. Rats. That's like the hard part of microsoldering is, you know, like to keep track of everything under the microscope. All right, I can't be confident that I can find another spot for that, so I am going to just, you know, for the sake of not getting fatigued with any one repair, and this is supposed to be short, especially because I'm supposed to pick up a kid, I am going to put a wire in the micro via, and that's just what we're gonna have to go with. What's left of that little dude. Okay, so let's get whatever kind of wire we can find. Here's some.
Yep.
Well, this is there, where's that thicker one? Oh, here it is. All right, let's see. Does anybody, oh, there's Paul Plays. I know that guy. You got this on lock, John. Totally 100% code 3 all the way, bro. Starting to think they have beers over there at the distillery. All right. All right, so my plan is to solder this wire on there. Go pick up my kid from ski club, and then when I get back, you'll have this all working. Sound good?
No comment.
No comment. I'll give it a shot.
Is there a pause button by any chance?
No, there's not. And you know, when you're soldering on stream, you have to like tell little stories, like, you know, my wife thinks, you know, something that might start like that.
Oh, really? So yeah. Well, my fiance, was she. The only time with running a bit. The question somebody asked on chat before was, is he a student? Yeah, I run my own business in England, just outside Coventry, in a little place called Kenilworth. And running your own business, as you know, the guys who do will know, it's pretty full on. So the only time you have spare is when you go, you know, basically fall into bed after you've eaten, so late at night. So that's the only time I have a chance to watch streams from sort of Jessa and Mark, etc. So yeah, so my fiance would look over and just before she fell asleep and see me watching iPad and iPhone repairs. So she said the other day, you basically spend more time with whoever that is. As
I believe it
Jessa.
was.
But yeah, no, I'll get onto that. Yeah. So she said, yeah.
Is she
so,
watching it right now? Did you text her?
I did text her, but
Okay.
oh, she hasn't texted me back. To be fair, they are 5 hours in front. So
I heard about you, Nick.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, Jessa is also in our house known as iPhone bitch.
Oh, is that
Yeah.
it?
So yeah, I did.
You're watching that iPhone, bitch?
Yeah, yeah.
God damn it! God damn it, John! God!
You spend. I think the exact words were, you spend more time with iPhone bitch in bed.
Spend more
than
time with
than
that
you do
iPhone,
with me.
bitch. That's
Yeah.
it. You're
Yeah.
going to Coventry.
Yeah. Yeah, so, and then I said, I'm actually going to tell Jessa when I get there that you call her iPhone bitch. She says, no,
Don't do that.
She'll think I'm a
She'll
bitch.
think I'm a bitch.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, there
I
you
thought
go.
that was pretty funny.
So,
Yeah, see,
Yeah.
yeah, you're going to have to tell little stories like that.
so yeah, feel free.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe we can get it trending or something. Hashtag iPhone bitch.
Yeah. I think it would be really funny to
Yeah.
hashtag code 3.
Go through,
All right. Yeah, so this wire is just too thick for that. And we'll go with the other one that's thinner. It's really tough when you have to kind of like tag into these micro vias. Really, really tough. And it would be really nice if we could figure out, you know, where does it go. It might be worth it to just peek on the other side of the board, kind of right here, and see if we can
The micro via
see
goes through.
anything. Like, you know, any other kind of like spot that's like fairly damaged.
Hawley Lewis says, every time you say Coventry, I think of Coventry Climax engines in old F1 cars. Well, Coventry is, well, I don't know whether it's related, but Coventry is where Jaguar Land Rover is located. So there is a lot of sort of manufacturing of cars has got history in Coventry. So whether that's related, I don't know. But,
All right, this is really tough to go after this because every time, you know, if you like soldering that resistor on earlier, you know, every time it kind of breaks off, it's almost like it breaks a wire another little notch.
yeah.
But you can usually chase them pretty far down. Eventually, it's got to go somewhere. Now this is why I wanted to kind of do this part, just to make sure that we don't. You know, that we get a test. You know, we want to see whether or not this is. It always stinks to do like, yeah, I got a great theory, and then I don't really know what happened. Might have worked. I don't really know, or maybe we fucked it up because we. That's always the worst result. I can remember that in grad school where you know, grad school was the worst because you can't see anything. Everything was like, you know, like take 2 microliters of this, mix it with a half a microliter of this, and then 0.2 microliter of this, and then put it in a bath for 37 degrees for 48 hours. Come back, mix it all together in a gel, run it out, cut it out, put it on a piece of paper, dry it, put it with an X-ray, stick it in a drawer for, you know, 24 hours, and then develop it and see what it is. 90% of the time with that whole process, it would be like, and the answer is blank piece of paper. Something went wrong. God damn it! You know, the answer is like no answer. You're like,
Yeah.
we're not telling you. Don't worry about it.
That's like with the old cameras. You know, you used to get the films, and you go on holiday, and you take
Oh,
film
yeah.
after film after film,
Yeah.
and then you go to get them developed, and
Yeah.
you're like really excited. You
Yeah.
go and look at your pictures, and every single one you had your finger over the
Right,
lines.
Yeah. You know what is really funny? I have sitting within 1 foot of you, right back there, is a see that camera with the green and white thing on it? It's behind the Diet Coke and behind the things.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that is that's a camera, disposable camera that my kid took to summer camp 2 years ago. That I've been like meaning to get developed. You know? And it's like I don't even know how you do it anymore. Like I mean, we live in Rochester. This is the land of Kodak. This should be easy. But it's somehow like not easy. All right, so we're definitely getting down to the a reasonable amount here of the other side of this microvia. But I really want it to be a robust connection, so I'm going to have to use a thinner wire than I'd like to, just because I don't want it to come off. Now, when you do something like this, where you're like having to tie into something thinner than you want, with a wire thinner than you want, you can kind of like use a thinner wire to then attach to a thicker wire elsewhere, and that can sometimes help you like get stuff attached. All right, let's see. So I'm going to try this thinner wire then, and hopefully that will help us out. Alrighty, what's going on with chat? Chris Long is sick. It's not been productive. Rest in peace, Kodak. Chris Long feels like a box of shit wrapped in more shit. Sounds like Chris Long has the flu. You better not die, Chris Long. If you do, I'm gonna come and be really pissed. I'll take it out on you. Alright. Let's see. Alright, so we're gonna... Yeah, we fixed it. We already broke it again just for the example of it. We're gonna try to break every component on it. Don't let me forget to... One of us needs to, like, pick up Bailey.
Yeah, just when.
No, I don't know. He's supposed to text me. Let's see. Did he? He usually says, Mom, I'm leaving Bristol. Oh, shit. 3 minutes ago. Oh, alright, let's see. Let's see if it's Mom, I'm leaving Bristol. The bus will be here in 24 minutes. And that was at 8:36. That means high school parking lot, buses from ski club.
So I need to leave now.
It's a high school. Like you walk like high school.
I'm not walking.
Well, you know, you don't really need to leave now.
All right. So leave in like 10 minutes, and then I gotta go to Grandma's house, pick up.
No, well, just go get Bailey and then come back here, and surely we'll be done. Surely. I mean, any second. Like we're pretty much done right now.
If past experience is any gauge, like
Then we're like totally done.
just about to wrap this stream up. It's gonna be.
Yeah, obviously.
All right, have we hit the 2 hour mark yet?
Yes. No.
Oh no.
No, and we're not going to, because this is going to be a
We're
quick,
just coming up on 1 hour.
quick stream. This is going to be a tidy, quick stream. We're practically done. I mean, all we can do is just this one little thing. We're not going to have any other maybe. None of that's going to happen this time. I promise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. I mean, I've been here since 8:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
Which, by the way,
That went really well, huh?
yeah. I'll tell you how well it went. It went so well, I had to send Lewis a voice memo about it. And then he sent me one back and said, "Did you make that guy cry?" No, I did not. All right. Okay, so that's on there. now what I'd like to do while that is on there. So do you know where your resistor is?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Because you're getting ready to take over.
Okay.
All right. So while this is kind of on here, I'd like to see if we can kind of do that same thing and just kind of find anybody here, anybody.
To be able to grab it. Yeah.
And like the most likely place for that to actually get a beep would be if we could probe like the other side of it. So I'm gonna try, and I'm gonna make sure my multimeter would beep. And I'm gonna put a probe here, and then I'm gonna reach under here and see if I just get any beeps. This is the like messy desk method of continuity detection, of circuit analysis. That's not really anymore. Oh, and it came off. Boo! Yeah. All right. It would be really nice if we knew where that guy went. But we don't.
Fizzy earbuds.
Earbuds.
What do you call it?
What do you call them?
Q-tips? He calls them earbuds.
What?
Yeah, but the same.
Q-tips.
Yeah.
Wait, you call Q-tips earbuds?
So over here,
That's
earbuds
probably
are
wrong.
the things that you put in
What do
your
you
ear
call?
to listen to
What do you
music.
call
Yeah,
like
yeah.
headphones that you? Yeah.
Those, something else.
And they're also earbuds. When are you guys gonna teach Mark your haka? I think now.
I asked and they
I think
don't do
now
it.
is good.
I want to know so that next time somebody from New Zealand comes, I can be like, hey, you want to see my haka?
Yeah, I really, really, really want to learn your haka. Just like a minute of it. Just like 2 steps of it. Just until the first time you have to stick your tongue out.
Did you know they have a mating haka?
Wait, these guys do?
Yeah.
Oh, come on. If you don't show us your haka, I'm totally gonna stick some spinach leaves in your backpack so that on border patrol, just one thing or the other is gonna happen. I'm watching border patrol with your ass in the strip search room getting searched for spinach leaves,
You slip
Or-
a pin in your microscope box.
yeah exactly,
It's a Gladstone.
a microscope and a banana. Go over there, sir. Either that is happening, or Mark gets to learn a haka. Come on. Like nobody can even see you. You're like totally over to the side, just like over there. No one will know. You teach Mark, and Mark will do it
You
right
gotta
there.
wait till you're done soldering because there's a lot of stomping involved.
That's okay. I'm a professional. I can handle it.
Someone's asking. Paul Play says, "Did Dustin fix his thing yet?"
Yeah. Did Dustin fix his thing?
Absolutely not.
Good. You know what? I have to say, part of me, like, remember on day 1 where this is how Dustin introduced himself. I'm the guy that you probably hate. And I was like, no. And then he's like, yeah, I'm the guy that said this iPhone. Oh yeah, you fucking hate that guy. And it's like, and now he's like, oh gee, I'm having trouble with this rabbit hole. Oh, that's really too bad, Dustin. Yeah, board repair sucks. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm like, you know what? I remember a repair like that. It's from this asshole named Dustin who sent it in. Fucking killed me. Yeah. So, yeah. Yeah, it's part of me feels like that. But that would be rude, so I would never say that out loud.
Actually, I changed my favourite moment of the week from Code 3 to that.
Yeah, all right.
You would.
You would. Oh. It is mighty, mighty hard to solder to this pesky little micro VA. He just doesn't like it. He doesn't want me to solder to him. He wants to be free. Part of me feels like if I just kind of keep chasing him, I'll get to where he pops out on the other side of the board at a trace, and it'll be like so much nicer.
Paul Daniel says you're not permitted to teach the hacker to foreigners.
That's what they want you to believe. Paul Daniels, it sounds like you're a member of the Brethren. Yeah. You better watch out, because one time I saw you eat a banana. And therefore, you're going to hell.
Calling out the brethren on live stream.
Yeah, that's how we roll.
That's how we roll.
Yeah, calling out the Brethren on live, which I only heard about a couple days ago.
Yeah.
These guys are like, great, now we can't go back to New Zealand at all.
At least not for another week.
You get that jumper stuck on there yet?
I think so, but you know, it's just so weak. I don't like it. It's just too many people are walking by. All right. I mean, it's on there, but you know, it doesn't want to be on there. Okay. All right. My job here is done. Time for me to retire and for you to stick a resistor on, like, away from that guy, like, you know, and then, you know, just be real careful. Get that over there. Just touch it. You know, so you got this. Simple as that.
Okay.
We're gonna switch around. Slide on over there.
Okay, so let's just grab.
Do you record these live streams?
No, it'll, you know, no, it'll just disappear. No one will ever see or know that I told everybody that I hated Dustin as he's sitting here going to the course, because that would be fucking weird.
I was just wondering, because while you're gone, like, you can say stuff too. You know? If it's not recorded, then, you know.
No, they turn into like videos, but none of the chat stuff is saved. But you can say whatever you want, Dustin. It's
Okay,
like,
so did you move the donor board from you?
I put one back with all the rest of the donor boards.
Was it that one we needed?
I mean, no, I didn't move one. I don't think so. That was a while ago.
Mark, which one was it? I'm sure. Oh no, hang on. I remember.
There were two. Is one not there anymore?
Oh, I remember where it was.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Because that I was getting ready to get proven wrong on my on my. No, we're almost done. Any minute now.
I think. Let's have a look. Where is it?
Peter Wilson says, "Be gentle with that wire. If it does come off, I'm sure you will be able to sort it. Come on, UK. I am from Newcastle."
Oh, Jordan.
Peter Wilson's a little bit of a dick to Mark sometimes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, Peter Wilson can go to hell.
Oh, he's the one. Oh, yeah, he's the one the other night. I remember. Yeah. Who kept saying,
Peter Wilson likes you though, John.
well, you've got to be loyal.
He's gotta be loyal.
You've got to be loyal. So let's just. So I think this
From
is the
the
resistor.
Ashes says, "I'm not a betting man, but I'll put 1 pound on John for the win." No pressure, John.
No pressure.
Just reflection on your
Paul Play says, "You got this, John."
weights training.
As long as the shakes don't kick in, we're good.
Who had the worst shakes in here this week? It
Um,
might be you, Marco. How
Yeah,
about how?
probably me.
Yeah.
where-
Yeah, look at it right now. Like, might be me.
Might be
We
me.
need to get Marco's certificate back. Yeah, he started off
Oh,
wanting to take it off with hot air. Now his rear camera has a connector that's kind of slid.
Wait, what is this?
6S backlight.
People.
His.
You can get some flux on that, Holmes.
My favorite is when Mark comes by and says, "You're not about to do what I think you're supposed to do." Right?
Are you? You're not getting ready to touch that
No,
with dry iron.
no, my favourite was when Jesse says, no, Mark says, Jesse, you need to take over here. That's when you know that's like code 3.
Code
Mark's
4.
about to lose it.
Goes both ways.
Well, I had to do the same thing when you guys
Yeah.
were on the Sex Toy Mini. When
Tag team.
I had to yell at you guys, and then I had to go get Mark. When you guys were like, refused to check to see what side of the coil the short was on, and you were like,
Come on.
oh no, the short's still there. How do you know? Oh, because we heated it up and it gets hot. Yeah, but where's the short? Oh, it's on the board. Mark! These guys refuse to use a multimeter to find a short now. Yeah, it's like that. No, my favorite was when Mark said on day 1, like, what are you doing over here, petting a butterfly?
No.
Right, so I've totally destroyed your jumper. I think. I can't quite see.
If you
it.
put
Oh no, I haven't.
If you put the resistor, if you find the resistor, put it on there. I'll stick that number back on there.
Okay, well yeah, that's done.
Okay, great. All
So,
That was quick, short.
there we go.
Alright.
That's it. So, while you're doing that, let's just double check we got the right resistor, because I'm pretty sure we did. but-
Yeah, I think that would be good too.
Yeah, yeah. Where's that board? Where's that board? So,
First time user of Paul Daniels Open Board View using free board views to practice with. Very interested in component level board repair. Thank you, Paul, for this awesome program.
so we need 2567. 2567.
They fixed
Oh,
it.
we closed it. So, where is it? 2567.
You know what my favorite thing Mark said all week was that you guys missed because it was in the car. He was talking about jury duty, and he was like looking forward to jury duty. Do you guys have jury duty?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, I've just done it.
Really?
Yeah, yeah, a few months ago, yeah.
Did you like it?
It was interesting.
Yeah, that's what Mark was like. Like he felt that like if I were going to be judged, I would want someone like me on the jury, and so
Yeah, yeah.
it's my civic duty.
Yep.
And so then he was talking about like, I'm like, you're not going to get on any kind of jury, Mark. They're gonna like ask you a couple of questions. Like, he's too smart. Get out. And this is what Mark said. Mark goes, "Oh, I can get on a jury." That was the funniest thing I ever heard. Oh, I can get on a jury.
So I'm gonna wear a MAGA hat.
Oh God, is that your plan too? I'm gonna get on the jury.
Yeah, because then like one of the sides is gonna want idiots.
And then you're gonna be like, ha ha! Rah! Still with her! That would be hilarious.
Wear a
That'd be
stupid her
perfect.
shirt and a MAGA hat.
Yes.
7.20. Okay, so.
Okay.
Alright, 7420. Let's have a look. Search.
Paul plays. I can get on a jury. He says equals. Oh, I can make sure that GPU never works again.
Get in. Yeah, it's the right one.
So I'm still unclear on the
Yeah, it's the right one.
Great.
Good.
All right. Let's check to
picking
see.
them up right around now. And
No, he usually says when they are leaving Bristol on this giant bus that comes back to the high school. So the bus is going, meaning he's on the bus at 8:36. Will be here, meaning right over there in 24 minutes at 8:36.
yeah, it's about time for me to head over then.
Yeah, so just walk over there, and I'm gonna say he'll find the truck. I'm gonna say find Mr. Mark in the truck.
All right.
All right.
Peter Wilson says, I'm not surprised Jess's partner, John's partner isn't answering text. It's 2 a.m. Yeah.
Yeah. 2 a.m. Guess she's just not dedicated to board repair. All right, fine. Okay. So this is a 10 ohm resistor? This giant thing?
That's what it said.
Did you measure it by any chance?
No.
Okay.
I trusted that. Yeah, that's what it said.
I trusted what the customer said. Okay. All right. Let's just
I really hope
let's
it
just
is
see.
now.
Let's see. We really probably should take 10.5 2.2. Shoo! All right. Customers
God
never
for
lie.
that.
All right. Okay.
Okay, I can breathe.
All right. Yeah. All right. So let's see.
Change my shorts here.
Yes. All right. So.
Yeah, sorry about your jumper though.
It's all right. It's a hard knock life for that guy. All right.
I
I'm
didn't
gonna,
knock the whole thing off it, yeah, it just sort of snapped. So.
yeah, it's really, really thin because it's just nothing. It's very hard to get it to stick to that wire under there. I'm going to move this guy a little bit nudged over here. You know what is really funny, I think? That, remember when we were trying to like watch that Lewis video to find the schematic? And we
Yeah.
were just like, oh God, come on, this is, just get to the fucking point. We don't care about, you know, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm not going to do that anymore. It's just like, yeah. It's just too hard. Like, I can't edit videos.
And I started talking about iPhone bitch and tell that story and all the other things. Yeah.
Yeah. You never
So I'm probably gonna
know.
look back on this and hate myself for it.
Oh, that's pretty much like every video I do. It's like, oh, jeez.
The best part, you said you were just gonna tell Jess that, and then you told the whole world.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was like, oh, I wasn't going to. I was torn on whether or not I should tell Jessica.
Emma,
Maybe
I'm sorry.
it does it. I don't know.
She's asleep. Don't worry. She'll never see this because you're not there. You're not going to watch it. So
That's what watch
you're like, I don't need to watch that one. I already saw it.
Yeah, she might
I was
have
there.
because I did text her and said,
That's annoying.
what was it?
You sit over there. That's what I want to done.
Streaming live on YouTube with iPhone bitch, nervous face, nervous face. So yeah.
Oh, well, we'll see.
At least you can prove you ain't wasting your time coming over
True.
here. Yeah.
At least it proves I'm actually here as
Yeah.
well. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
In case you had any doubts.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be funny. It's all a ruse. I just had I watched that channel for forever, but then when I finally got a chance, I just went to Vegas.
Yeah. It's amazing. Yeah.
Hey, fuck that. I was there for one day. Those guys were just assholes. I left. Oh my God. All right. Oh, that is very not much to solder to.
Yeah, we had a fun Uber trip last night.
Oh, you did? Where'd you go? Did you guys go to
Yeah.
the Thirsty Turtle?
I was just telling them about like my first experience, and I was like, he's like, so where are you going? I'm like, I need to go to Walmart. He's like, Target? I'm like, Walmart. He's like, okay, Target it is. I'm like,
Wait, your Uber driver
Yeah.
refuses to go to Walmart?
Yeah. Well, he had one star, and we were like, "Oh, we'll give him the benefit of the
Oh wait, he had one star.
Yeah, and then we got out at the end of the 2-hour journey
And
to-
walked
to
walked
Walmart.
from Target to Walmart.
So
Yeah.
5 minutes down the road.
And it was like, now we know why he had one star.
That's pretty funny.
it took us what, like 10 or 15 minutes just
Yeah,
to
yeah.
get back to where we were.
Oh, I'm trying. So he wasn't objecting to taking you guys to Walmart out of any kind of moral
Well, he
objection.
just didn't know where
He
it was.
just
He
thought,
decided to drive to a different Walmart.
Yeah, yeah.
okay.
And then we finally got back to where we were, and he went, "Oh, that Walmart."
But it had a GPS on his thing, like.
Yeah.
There's only one Walmart within like 20 miles of the hotel. I mean, there's no question.
There's a little one up on the Eastern Mall.
It's just the little one.
It's not the.
What, a Walmart?
Hmm.
What?
It's not a super center or a super Walmart. It's just
It's a Walmart.
a regular.
There's the Walmart that's next to Kohl's and
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
Chipotle and
Yeah, that's
Where was
it.
he taking us in? You must have
Yeah.
go for a long drive.
I don't know, but that's when that road looked kind of sketchy.
Yeah. I reckon it
I was
was
like, any minute he's gonna like open his door and roll us out.
oh, I don't know about this. We really would be nice to know where that fucker goes. And it is kind of like odd that it really does not seem to go to the same place that, you know, the other cap goes. I mean, it almost like it kind of has to, don't you think?
Yeah.
Let's see, what does that go to? I'm not. I'm trying to think. I'm thinking again about our like idea of this being a test point, which it does seem to be. But for what? So the way these things work is they kind of like go through layers of the board, and then they'll like be like kind of thinner and then fatter. So I kind of have to like get down to another place where it's on that layer itself of microglia.
The next part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I think I'll be able to get something there. Oh, it's so funny. Like, really, what the title of this video is: watch Jessa try to solder inside a hole for a long time.
Yeah.
And
Not really.
a bunch of students kind of crack jokes.
Repaired by John, who is going to rock this. I rocked Ohm Resistor. That was about it.
I mean, I really would. I wonder what it would be like if I edited videos, or if I, just like even said, this is the live stream. If you like kind of ha chat, whatever content, then that's what's going on. But then later, especially if like I had a content person that came around and said, all right, there is like good pieces, like of like the whole reason why you do any video, like this one is, well, let's see what you can learn about this, and just kind of like take the bit about how you think about this, and then just skip all of the struggle to solder a wire, and then end it with so that's what we learned. I wonder what it would be like. I mean, how many times have you guys watched an iPad rehab video and thought, Jesus fucking Christ, get to the point. Just want to know if it worked or not. Fuck.
Yeah. Sometimes I've been like,
You're like, no,
I'm
never.
really tired. I'll just watch the catch up tomorrow, the update.
Alright.
So
I'm just doing the end first, and then I'm gonna shove it in that hole and get it making contact. And then we'll find that it doesn't work.
okay.
What? Peter Wilson, what?
Peter Wilson, he's saying, I am recording it. I can watch it after. Let's hope this is a short stream. It isn't as long as the last one. It was nearly 5 a.m. by the time I got to sleep. And Paul says, get back to work, Dustin.
Man.
Slave driver.
Get back to work.
Get back to work, Dustin.
Finished. Put it all back together, but it still isn't charged. Yeah.
Did you check if you're getting 5 volts on the other side of your Q2 or whatever? Your gate? Marco can tell you all about the gate. Yeah, remember the gate that you had to figure out the jumper for yesterday?
Oh, that guy.
Yeah, that gate. Oh, that gate. Oh yeah, I did learn something. Yes, I remember. Yeah, like tell him that he should measure for 5 volts on the other side of his gate. And make sure it's a steady and,
You should measure for 5 volts on the other side of the deck, bro.
Bro.
It's the other side of the gate, bro.
Yeah, bro.
Did you make a diagram? Did you bring it up?
Will this actually be recorded? Because I'll probably do with it for I don't know, the memories of my trip to on the iPhone.
Yeah, I mean, anything that's a live stream just automatic. I don't do anything. It just turns into a video.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it live streams turn into videos, and then I get a whole bunch of flack about like, I can't believe you made us watch an hour and a half on Air 4013 and you never fucking figured it out, God! That stuff's like infernally annoying. Where it's like, this is the, like this is what my whole fucking queue is like, 100% of the time.
Marco did that today. I didn't do that.
Huh?
No, sorry, I didn't know what Marco was doing.
That was yesterday.
No. Yes, the other day.
That was 24 hours ago.
It felt like a week ago.
I felt like
Yeah. Remember that yesterday when you guys were doing those TriStars?
Friday's pretty hard.
That was 24 hours ago.
Is that burn mark on the floor when a battery got pierced?
No, I don't know. Why would you even say that? Of course not.
It just shaped like a battery.
These are
That's
professionals.
that's we painted that there for decor.
You gotta make it look authentic.
Yeah. That was from the douchebag shop that was here before us. A bunch of noobs. We would never. I mean, come on.
And you were testing.
This is that another copy of that same 334 chip?
Is that 6?
Success. Success. Yes,
I
success.
don't know where it is.
What are you doing?
I'm pretty sure. No, it's a different chip. Pretty sure that this is.
Can you come back and tell us what that other chip is?
Yeah, come on, stream. Get busy. Nobody's working. Dustin, go look up this chip. Paul,
What were they? Let's
Paul
see. I'll do it.
Slimer, get back over here and
I'll
look
do
up.
it. I'll do it.
look at
Right,
this chip.
So what was the number on it?
What was the number on it?
Yeah, what was it?
Let's see. I don't know where it is. Oh, here it is. It's this. It's this guy right here. It's 334444V 7B004.
You better not.
004.
Yeah, 7B004. So the main number is 3444V.
3444.
That's bad luck.
Yeah, and then the second line is 7B as in boy 004, and then BYB. Yeah.
Honestly, that.
Right, so I'm pretty sure this resistor is on here, and we'll
Yeah, that's what I did eventually.
check back on our diode mode and see.
Florida real estate.
Florida real estate.
And homes for sale.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay, so there's that.
Kind of just got
I
pinched
did
together and
it
hope for the best.
Big fat joint.
Then I'll just relax.
Okay.
Honestly, I reckon that would work. Because beers, if you
Yeah,
have a
look
few
and
like
see if any of
shots
these-
whiskey or something, you just wouldn't care and you go up.
Or you'd end up damaging something.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I wonder if we search for it on the schematic for the
So-
A1708,
Okay.
whether it'll tell us, give us some clues on that.
Are you talking about?
It won't text search a number like that. It would, if we knew that it was like U2300 or something. But the markings on the chip aren't going to be on there. I doubt. All right, so let's do a test then. So I believe that we have successfully soldered a 10 ohm resistor after much effort
Did you use the
with a micro jumper down into the depths of a via where we don't know where it connects to. We were never able to find that out. We have our 1 microfarad capacitor. This is presumably, and it would probably be worth it to take it off and find out for sure, but it would disintegrate. A 0.22 microfarad capacitor, we're guessing. This is our 1 ohm resistor, and this is our 10 ohm resistor. And we're going to see if that makes a difference. This is the only physical damage that we can find in a major way. We think that this is a missing test point. And we have a missing guy here that we think is a capacitor, or it's a resistor to ground, but we think it's a capacitor as far as we can tell. There's a little bit of janky resistors there, a little bit, or quite significant damage here on this this
Tiger's charger goes to them.
guy. Let me actually put a probe on that and make sure that that is not any kind of short to ground. Now what we should do is do a little bit of voltage testing with this test.
That's awesome. I didn't know I did that.
No, neither. We learning something else.
I know. Just when you thought the class was over.
What are you guys doing?
So there should be
They're figuring out how you can rotate stuff when you're on your screen with the Mac.
on the touchpad.
Wow.
That's pretty good.
Wow.
I don't know, mate.
Yeah.
So
And if I
you've,
fix it, I'll
you've
probably-
already.
I've already bridged the gate, or I mean
You
Alright,
push the
that
power
doesn't
to
sound
check
good.
the
That doesn't
gate.
sound good.
No, it doesn't.
well now the gate doesn't matter because
Oh, that's a
That
good
doesn't
point,
sound
but
good.
she was checking, if you check the gate, then you know that there's,
Alright, so this
weak.
is
So you gotta check that that's weak. Well, you could just check
a little
by fixing the
unclear.
bridge.
Almost
Just-
kind of want to
just
just take
put
that
a
guy
positive
off.
on that, you read on Earth, and
Yeah,
it'll
let's
tell you
see.
if you're getting 5 volts once you've got it plugged in.
plugged into the power.
Multimeter can measure voltage coming in.
Battery and a buck, that's the buck switch.
Alright, so now we've got what
Right.
these things are likely
Yeah, I mean, if,
tantalum caps.
You guys have like the biggest advantage in class because you're gonna go home and you're gonna, I forget where that clock right?
Yeah,
Let's
we
just
can
try
run
to
into different things. Yeah.
And then I wanna go
clean
home
that
and
up a little bit.
what that was and I'm looking around and everyone's gonna be like I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, I should have seen
Let's
that,
try
like,
to read the board a little bit and see
camera
what's
should
going on
be
here.
a whole lot.
Well, the guys on the stream were just asking exactly what the numbers were. It was
Oh, really?
3 3 4 4 4 V for
So
Victor,
then you get one of those little
7
spot
B for
Yeah.
Bravo, 004.
Yeah.
But the main first line was 3 3 treble 4 V.
What the heck are you doing on this?
So
I
yeah.
mean, you get the board, but it's not the same.
Alright, let's
That's
see
like
if
physically doing it.
you know
I don't
this
think anyone
this
can
is
for it.
you know,
But it would
pretty good
help you
looking.
as a student to remember stuff.
Definitely. Well, I should start.
It's what, 50 hours worth of footage.
So can I just-
Alright, so we're gonna investigate whether or not there's a short here, which might be the case.
This is the quick station. It's got a, so it
It's
goes on
automatic.
standby when you put it in there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Comes on. That's the tip, that's the vent nozzle. It's pretty powerful.
That was funny though, we were like using that to take the chip off our Michael.
You know, this looks really damaged.
Let's remove some teeth. Can you put teeth?
But I also
Yeah, Walmart
You
don't
can
think they turn on if they're missing like one of their tantalum
Yeah,
caps.
totally. I've seen it done.
What's holding your teeth in? Leaded solder.
Only the best.
Only the best. It's the perfect ratio.
I just can't heat it up to
It doesn't get
what
muddy.
is it, 130 degrees? Otherwise, once it's
Yeah. My math gets hotter than 130. His fingers are so tiny. How do they do it? How do they do this stuff? Has anyone changed the SIM tray? Well, not the tray, but the SIM.
Alright, let's see.
You have? Do pins get broken when people bring up, or?
Very often it's they put a SIM card in it's the wrong size.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You
Alright, so
shove
over
it.
there I've got 0.439 and over here ground I'm guessing. And then on this one I've got ground and
Yeah.
It's not even
alright,
on
so
top,
that's
okay,
back
but
to
it's-
0.439.
Okay.
Alright, so this is just really degraded so it can get in the board and
Yeah.
you know little shapes. Seems okay now. Test. Alright, so how do you want to do this? Here's a plug, kind of.
Yeah.
This was like,
Go ahead, I'm not
Should we
doing any of
bang it
this.
back in, or
Huh?
do you want to put it back in the housing, or?
I don't, but you can.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta get some kind of a. I don't know how that thing works. I've never even seen one of those in my life. Alright, so now we are going to see if anything is gonna work.
Chuck it on the, and then you get it cut.
2 seconds.
Whatever happened to Horatio?
He just
He
vanished.
went out
He's
to.
vanished, yeah.
He went toilet.
Yeah,
And then
I don't
he-
remember him coming back.
See what it is. He
You
gets
know what
a
happened?
rental
It's
car.
that they probably. Did you see like a white van drive up and like throw him in?
The Apple guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially now. They probably chase
I don't
us.
know what you're talking about. Nothing happened.
It's probably on the road.
Probably those guys from the Chinese place.
Oh.
Yeah, it would be really cool if this actually worked. wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It would be super cool.
It would like round the week off
Yes.
really, really well.
It would make
Oh, yeah.
it would forgive all
would
of the
pay for
shitty
it.
things I said to you guys all week. I'd be like,
Don't forget
nope,
the
it was
pay
alright.
I think I'd even forget everything you said to me.
Even Dustin would forget that I hated him all week long if this works.
Have you ever done a
I will stop hating Dustin if you make this work.
Have you done a 7
No
cable
pressure,
synth?
John.
Yeah.
It's alright, we don't
Have I
care,
done
we
it
hate you too.
A 7 cable synth, repair cable on a home button?
Fuck no, I gave it up. Like I
That was the last
this
one
whole thing. That was the last one I
He
ever
broke
did.
you.
It's like,
He
yeah,
broke
he broke me. Justin broke me on the 7
She
home
wrote me a
buttons.
long old letter too. It was like,
It was like this
"Dear
fucking
Dustin, I am never doing this ever again. So don't send any more."
Yeah,
Don't
yeah.
ever
We don't want your business.
you, dear Dustin, I've never met you, but you have broken me. I will never touch an iPhone 7 home button repair ever again. Enjoy. By the way, if you come to the course, there's an Apple store 10 minutes away where you can take all of your home buttons and they'll just swap them out. Yeah.
The course costs so much money
Right.
for you. It's that
Right.
plus. I thought it was a little bit high.
No, we didn't do that much. We just oh, man.
Did it actually work?
Alright.
Oh my God.
See if you get 30 volts straight to the NAND.
Yes, it is. Well.
Paul Daniel says time to test and let the magic
What's the
smoke
rate?
out.
0.9.
But here's the funny thing: we watched that Lewis video, can't stand it, quit,
Yeah.
and now Lewis is like, "So why don't you guys go to 383?"
He said,
I'm out.
He literally tested only 3 or 4 ways.
Yeah, but then we kind of tried to figure it out, and then went, oh, we'll just copy what he did, and then you go,
It
oh,
should
and
get
was
3v3
0.3,
just before the smoke.
and
We're
then
not
it
gonna
was
smoke.
2, and then like 0.3, and then 0.6, then ground, and then 0.8, like just real low. But so we went back to that one, and then we checked the thing short enough, cut circuit.
That's like
Get
the
back to
default
work,
of the
Dustin.
NOA.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, it is.
If someone's been playing with it, it doesn't just fail.
No.
70 degrees Fahrenheit in San Jose, California.
That sounds nice.
Get repaired,
Yeah.
and then they didn't fix it.
You don't have to do all those screws. We just need to.
No, I'm just doing just a few on the outside,
Alright.
just to keep it in the.
Paul Play says, I saw a van come up, a bunch of guys in black turtlenecks jumped out and
and then
nabbed
when
him.
I
Did you hear that? Paul says, I saw a van come up, a bunch of guys in black turtlenecks jumped out and nabbed Horatio. It was over so quick. Black turtlenecks. Peter Wilson says, I have faith in you. Really.
Black turtlenecks and ball caps. Gotta have ball caps.
They all had Apple Watches on.
Yeah.
Ask Peter Wilson if he's lucky, because I could sure use some luck right now.
Yeah, Peter Wilson.
Everyone will love me after this.
Right.
There we go.
And now for the depressing
Oh, we're
conclusion.
gonna work it.
Yeah.
Oh, McShaky fixed it.
Made a mess of it, alright.
Oh, McShaky.
Oh,
Used to-
McShaky.
Does flux cause short?
Yeah.
Nope. No, it does not.
Oh, it's on big thing.
There's the speakers, aren't they? So I'm not going to put those in.
Dance.
Why'd you make it so easy?
Let's grab a cable.
Yes. Let's grab a nice 220 volt cable and see if we can set this fucker on fire.
Yeah. Once again, that's an appliance. It's appliance one. When in doubt, check to
Oh, is that another one of the?
First you bypass, then you put it in for you.
If it goes puff, then you know there's a fault there somewhere.
Oh,
Or you just hear it click in the distance.
did you have a?
Do I have a duck face or whatever those things are called? Maybe. Whoa, David's station is a mess. Like,
He did literally run out of
he
it,
did.
didn't he?
Yeah.
Oh,
Right, so is that?
But at least that iPad Air had an image.
Yeah.
So he actually did get it going. Partially.
Yeah, he got it going. I mean, in the end, I mean, it was like all I wanted for it was for him to see it with his, you know, as long as it takes.
Just in time too.
And it sounded like all it was.
In the end, his jumper was a shade too long, so it was touching the data choke clock line as well
I
as
can
the
see
data.
the screen
So it
above
was
you.
like bridging it,
Oh, that's why you had no image?
yeah. I would have thought the instructor would have checked for that before firing up. But.
I've brought the child labor.
Hey Bailey, how was ski club?
It was
Yeah, first lesson's fun.
It was what?
painful.
Alright, how many times have you heard Dad talk about Border Patrol? These guys are from New Zealand and they're gonna have to go through customs. Yeah, Border Patrol.
Yeah.
What are the tips for them to like get back into their home
What should
country?
they not bring?
Yeah, what should
Contact NT, no.
Contact NT. No.
They were trying to
Boo.
find
How do we even? Who even knows how to figure out if these? Did you try all 4 holes? That's what she
Yeah.
said. Okay, what you need to do is measure voltage. Like, flip it over,
Let's do it.
and on those big calves, measure what the voltage is.
Oh, they're on the flip side.
Well, something will be on that side.
Yeah.
Measure around. See what that voltage is. Peter Wilson says, "I need a cup of tea and some popcorn, maybe a 3-course meal." Yay, my green. Bailey, how else can you tell them to get back into New Zealand?
Don't make a piano out of contact NT either.
Don't make a piano.
Someone made a piano out of it.
Yeah, you can apparently play.
Wow.
Yeah, out of.
You could apparently
Yeah, could you play it?
Is that like a precursor to
It's how you make pea in New Zealand.
make what?
Make what?
Pea, which is like ice.
Yeah, it's like a crack.
Methamphetamine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never met it. Yeah, never met it.
There's a lot of, you only got like 4 million people, but there's enough demand that an entire piano is.
Oh, it's in high demand in that country, and Australia and New Zealand seems to be.
So is like everybody's on it, or just the people that are like have a huge appetite?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, you got 10 volts
Both of those.
on
Yeah.
that, which
That's
you
pretty
should probably, let's make it be so
I've
that
never
like
seen or heard of
stream
anyone
people
making
can at
it.
least
Seems
know
to be-
what that is.
I've
Alright, you
seen
got
a
10
few people
volts
walk past
on
it, I think.
whatever that
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
10 volts on whatever that is.
Like some customers.
We had one student who was like, we were telling him, be careful.
What's
Taking
over
the battery
here?
out,
Near
just
where they-
ripping it to shreds in and out.
Oh.
And we were like, dude, that's really dangerous.
Choked
Yeah.
up on that.
What?
3.3 on
What are you
that.
talking about? I'm from
So this is
Kentucky.
why you don't want to put a bunch of
All
screws
the
and
guys
shit in
I
there,
know
because
rip these things
ideally
open
you
and
could
get the
like
lithium out and
flip,
make drugs
flip
with
this board around. You probably don't need the battery. You, just,
Yeah.
you really just need
Need
to
it.
take the DC
Yeah,
board out
yeah, yeah.
so that you can kind of work on the logic board by itself.
Yeah.
And then you would test to see whether or
The
not, like,
batteries explode.
you know, how do I know if it's on
Yeah.
or not? It would be, we
Well, how
would
do you
be trying
explain
to
it when you
figure
broke it with,
out
like, your
what would
freezer
be
just
like
like-
the CPU.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
Like
we
an
were
output.
expecting every
Yeah.
battery to
Or-
cut
or,
open
you know,
to
the
explode in space,
CPU,
and none of it did.
The
core,
biggest thing we've found
core
is pressure.
rail that
So
would
if you
kind of tell
press
us that the
battery,
CPU was
it
off.
crushes all
Yeah.
the levels together. Then it
Well,
explodes.
that's
So if you have
that.
like a bearing press, chuck it in.
That'll be the keyboard, won't it?
But like if you're like slicing.
Yeah,
it
oh,
up,
if you have a
like,
wet
thing
keyboard,
all
definitely
that
don't
side.
put
Yeah,
that.
if I
Some
could
of them
short it,
will
obviously.
like
The
not
times
boot
I've
if
seen
the,
them catch on fire, it's been
you know, bad pieces
Yeah,
are
yeah,
plugged
yeah.
in.
I don't
You
know how
Like
it's able to
a wet,
just
a
Maybe
damaged
because it's a
keyboard
big-
can make a
It
MacBook.
wasn't like he had had some special
Screen you can, you know, kind of leave plugged in just to see.
chopping it up.
That's true.
It wasn't like you go 2 inches in and you cut
Yeah,
one
no,
down
no,
the
no.
middle and then.
I can't imagine that stuff being all that.
Yeah, eliminate variables.
Oh yeah.
The other day
Fan
I
spin,
just
baby,
went-
boom!
I ran outside.
Oh, what?
What?
You actually fixed it?
Well, we
don't
made
know,
the
yeah.
fan spin around a couple times. I don't know if that counts.
Yeah, but
I mean,
That
thing happened.
doing
A
something.
A thing
Doing
happened!
something.
It's alive.
that's better than.
All right, and the stream, it's fixed.
Well, we got show the spinning fan under the microscope because that's how we prove that shit worked.
Well, let's plug the screen in. Let's see.
2 days.
Well, you might want to like not do that right this second. You know what I mean? A little bit of
Why is
what we learned about backlight.
What the hell's a band
Getting
hitting?
excited.
Oh, was the microphone?
Yeah,
They
go
can
to the
hear it.
microphone.
There
Yeah,
you go.
you can hear it.
What's that hitting?
A little bit of beer. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a little bit of contact and
Yeah,
it's just a couple of grains.
Yeah, there's
There's a bunch of
Probably a bit of beer
Right,
residue
show
in
it
there.
under here, because that's the fun part. Like, see, let's do the proof of fan spin, which I think is pretty fucking cool. All right, let's do. All right, let's minus this out. All right, so then it's cool to like make it stop. Like, can you like take power and then like we'll focus on the fan. And then it's like, can you make it stop so that we can like show it starting? That's kind of like the classic. Hey, it's working for. Unplug that, right? Because then it's got no battery.
Yeah. There we go.
All right.
I'll grab it with the
All right. So wait, let's focus.
and then I'll put it in the
All
There we
right,
are.
we're gonna fan spin this bitch.
all the way to where they're touching the board. That
So
way
we'll open it
Okay.
to kick it off.
it doesn't
Yep.
take long of holding it while
Are you
you're
gonna
touching
work?
the pads and the component. Just a second, and then
There we are.
Yay! All right.
Just put it back down.
Yay!
so that
There we
will work.
Fan
the case a lot longer,
spin!
because then you're using the component to heat the pad. But you wanna get your
Pretty
fingers
cool.
down there, heat everything up
All right. You want? So do you have the screen unplugged right now,
Good
or
question.
you're not sure?
Not sure.
Yeah. So take that back apart, and then see if you do. Well, that's pretty cool. We got a fan spin on a touch bar MacBook with no schematics. 2017 A something something.
That's all you need. Fan spins.
Fan
it's done.
spin. It works. Make an eBay listing. You guys make the eBay listing?
There you go. That's John for you. Number 9274962697.
Yeah, exactly.
Just give him a call.
Watch this. So yeah, John made
Your touch
John
bar.
made the fan spin on the MacBook. Yay! Dustin's my best friend now. See, everybody's happy.
Oh my god.
Oh my God! It's even showing an Apple logo. What? Well, it did for a second.
Well, it did for a second.
Yay! Woo! There you go. Look at that.
Boom.
Now she's definitely watching this stream.
Oh my god. Record. Someone's recorded.
So now we gotta wait 2 days and see if it
That's
stays
pretty
on
cool.
or
Yeah, that's great.
Unbelievable.
Yay!
man.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah, good job.
Yes. All right.
It's pretty noisy.
Yay! We fixed
Whoop,
the
whoop.
MacBook. In fact, we're like the first ones. I'm pretty sure. This is the first stream to fix a 2017 MacBook, whatever that was. What was it?
What was it? No, this is a A1706.
1706.
Yeah,
I'm pretty
1706.
sure this is the first A1706 to be
Yeah, get
fixed.
them search terms in there.
Now you have to.
Yeah, baby. Who's the MacBook fixer now? And it
Boom.
only took
So-
like 10 minutes. What is it, stream? 10, 15 minutes?
Yeah, that's all. Yeah.
All right, that's pretty cool. All right, let's see what Peter Wilson says. There you go. Paul says, I knew you could do it, John. Touch bar 1706. Woo, well done. Now call Mark a traffic cone. I don't know what that means. Totally code 3. See fan spin. Paul Daniel says, is it hitting a wire? Better not be hitting my jumper.
No, there is a bit of beer residue in one of the
It
fans.
is a little bit of beer residue.
In one of the fans, yeah. So that's what it's hitting.
All right.
Check that in
So the Mac booted up a little.
Because when I first got it, the fan wouldn't even turn, so I had to
Yeah.
strip it down.
All right.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. All right. Well done.
So don't
That's
drink
great.
and play
So
on
yeah,
that.
you can leave this here. We'll fix this for you and send the rest of the review.
See, buy like RAM upgrades and all the usual sort of boring stuff. This is my first ever Mac board repair. So, yeah, good.
Pretty good though. I mean, it really is with no schematics and the whole idea of guessing and logical reasoning and you know, hunting down that 10 ohm resistor. I mean, that's what's really amazing about this kind of stuff. So this is pretty minor damage, you know, and it was really just logical reasoning, you know.
Oh, it's optimized.
And it doesn't require a whole
So
lot
the
of
previous guy might have
understanding minutia and stuff like that to
So it's
be
got
able to do
taken
really
someone
amazing
fit into
things.
second
You know,
fix it.
it's a really impressive kind of, I made something really worthwhile working on.
Yeah, and that's what the course teaches you as well.
Yeah. All right. Well, very, very good. And you're gonna need to put some like UV shit on that and stuff. Right?
Yeah.
All right. If you can fix that one, you can fix all Macs. All right. That is all live from the very last day of Practical Board Repair School, where we have just fixed our first Touch Bar MacBook, which is pretty cool for us. And we are going to get the hell out of here. I'm saved.
MacBook works. Dustin is in from the cold.
That's right. Bye, everybody.